Hello, Ohana peoples. Look at this. So.
So we are now alive.
Amazing.
Our Dreamforce recap here with System.debug. Very, very exciting. And to kick it off, we'll be talking about Dreamforce 19 and all of the wonderful, exciting, awesome things that we have going on. We have our hosts here today, me, Megan, our recent addition of Nathan NA8 Pepper, and our newest host of Adam Daw. Welcome, Adam, to the lovely insanity that is System.debug. We are so happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
For sure. And Nate, I see you've got the guitar out. Do you want to kick us in?
Let's kick us off. Ready? Oh, wait. You know what? I realized I don't play guitar. I DJ. Are you ready for this?
Oh, let's do it.
You are now listening to System.debug. Today's episode, what happens in Dreamforce, gets talked about here on System.debug.
That was beautiful, Nate. It was so beautiful.
That was amazing.
Wait. Okay. No.
Okay. All right. I think it's enough air horn.
Sorry, I can't play guitar like Ronnie.
If only you had some cowbell.
Cowbell coming soon.
There we go. Well, I guess everybody is just going to have to tune in for next time to hear some cowbell.
Is that the promise now? We got cowbell coming next week?
Well, cowbell coming soon. We never said it was next week. You just got to tune in. You never know when it's going to be on there.
A cowbell item.
Surprise cowbell. Got it.
So when it comes to Dreamforce, I know that we've all been to our fair share of Dreamforces in the past. Definitely a few under my belt, a few under yours. I had the opportunity to go to DF19. Nate, we missed you. We definitely missed you.
I missed you. Only my second that I missed out of, what, like 8 years. So
wow.
Yeah.
Right. But before we dig into Dreamforce and all the awesomeness there, Adam, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself? Who are you? What do you do?
Sure. Okay. Well, first of all, I'm really excited to be here. This is amazing, and thanks so much for suggesting it. And let's see. So my name is Adam Daw. Hi, everybody. I've been working on the platform since 2008. So DF19 was my 11th Dreamforce.
Oh my god!
Really exciting.
Oh, 8, we're matchers.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my gosh, Salesforce matchers.
As far as the platforms loved, two things I love are writing custom code and JavaScript. And one of the things that really excited me about DF19, and of course we're going to talk about this a lot more, is just how much JavaScript there is on the platform these days.
Oh, man.
I know not everybody agrees, and some people are vehemently opposed, but I mean, I'm a JavaScript fan, so.
Famous. I love those lightning.
A JavaScripter, please help us. Can you fix that printer too?
Well, Adam, I am sure that you are going to bring some wonderful excitement and knowledge to System.debug, and I am sure that means we are also going to have some JavaScript focused episodes coming soon in the near future.
I'll do my best.
That also
Adam,
means if you are looking for somebody to tweet at.
So I came on board just when they were phasing out S controls. The year, so Megan, you may remember this, but 2008 was the year they introduced Visualforce on the platform, and you couldn't create new S controls. S controls that already existed on the platform still had a little bit of leeway, but you no longer had the ability to create new ones. Kind of the way that they sunset, like standard pages or classic pages as they introduced Aura and now LWC. It's
Yeah.
So I think-
slowly phased out.
So I think that is based on when you started in '08 about whether or
Yeah,
not you could create that.
Exactly. I was the latter
Yeah.
half of '08.
Gotcha.
It-
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was actually really funny because Dreamforce kicked off on November 1st in 2008. And I had started at this new company at the end of September. The very first thing that happened at this new company was that I got handed an org for like sales and support. We had an implementation partner, the person who has now become a dear, dear friend. And I had no idea what Salesforce was. The very next thing I had to do was get a passport and get on a plane. I had never really left home other than like family vacations before that. It was my very first business trip, my very first time going to San Francisco, my very first software conference, and my first exposure to Salesforce, and it was Dreamforce 2008.
Adam needed a passport to go from Canada to America, by the way.
Yes.
True story. True story.
a proud Canuck, although as we film this, I'm currently in San Francisco, so you know.
Nice.
His time zones are all messed up.
Yeah,
We're all in the same time zone.
Yeah, we're all on the West Coast.
What?
Usually it's like 3:00 in the morning right now for Adam because he's Canadian.
Yeah. Well, next episode I'll be back in Ottawa probably.
Nice.
Welcome,
Adam.
Speaking of, you are also running a conference. And it takes place in Canada, are you not?
I am actually. So I'm lucky enough to be part of 2 org teams for a couple of different conferences. One of them is in Portland, Oregon, for Slandia. An awesome conference.
My personal favorite
yeah.
of all the
Code
Dreamin'
Focus.
events.
It's
as
pretty
it was
great.
my first Dreamin' event I ever attended. Do love it. Forcelandia, check it out. July this year, correct?
Yeah, I'm a big fan, and I really love that team. I got to hang out with them a little bit at Dreamforce this year, and I'll talk about it as we get through the recap. But the other group that I'm part of is the True North Dreaming group, which is the first Canadian conference, and we had our inaugural year this year. We did an event in July in Ottawa, and it was a lot of fun. But the goal there was to kind of mix it up and show off a different Canadian city every event. So the next one that is going to be in April, and it's in Vancouver again on the West Coast.
Nice.
But the call for papers opened up. There's still early bird, not the earliest bird, but early bird registration tickets available. You can find it all at truenorthdreamin.com. But we'd love to have folks, come and see the beauty of Vancouver, and we'll be doing some. We try to kind of show off the city a little bit whenever we do these events. So we'll probably have a tour of some sort, and yeah, we'd love to have you there to speak and meet some of our Canadian, and we have a lot of folks from the U.S. coming up too to the event. So it's a great little community event.
Nice.
I'll be one of those Americans coming up for True North Dreamin'. Can't wait to see
Can't
you in
wait.
Vancouver. It's going to be
Can't
awesome. But speaking of conferences, this episode is based around Dreamforce. So fantastic Dreamforce this year.
It was really great. Yeah.
There were a lot of super cool announcements, a lot of great things going on, a lot of excitement, a lot of Ohana was seen, a lot of cool stuff. Very few stickers, but luckily the Ohana brought a bunch of stickers. Partners had a bunch of stickers, which was fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, Megan, you trade stickers like a Boy Scout trades badges.
I do. I need those stickers. I need them. I coat everything in stickers.
People's sticker games were on point this year. Like, there were a lot of awesome stickers.
There were. Yeah.
I need to escalate from getting my own T-shirts printed to getting my own stickers printed. Megan beat me to it.
Absolutely, man. It was well worth getting my Trailmoji sticker printed and handing those out. I went through over 350 Trailmoji stickers at Dreamforce.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't given that many business cards away in my career.
So,
I mean,
You gotta
better stickers
Fish
than
bowls
business
aside.
cards, right?
I honestly never really gave away that many business cards, but by having my Twitter handle and my blog listed on my sticker,
Yeah.
not only did I give out my information, I got more Twitter followers. I saw a spike in blog views.
That's great.
And it gave people a great way to contact me.
Man, I really need to get my trail emoji up then. I was lamenting the fact that they didn't have like a bald-headed Astro. There was one, but Stephanie Herrera turned me on to, apparently there's another application that'll let you like make some modifications and edit your trail emojis. I don't know which one it is, but I'm sure we can get the link for the show notes. And
Nice.
yeah, so I'm gonna do that and make some customizations and then get myself on Sticker Mule and pick some up.
Did
There you
Bald
go.
Force happen this year?
So,
Pardon?
Bald Force? That happened
Bald
this
Force?
year?
Not that I know of.
No,
Not
Bald
that I know
Force.
of.
so
But we did hand out a bunch of these, which you can see. That's
Nice.
Gord. That's
these
that's
are
the
mine.
True North Dreaming mascot.
Nice.
Have you seen this, Nate?
Wow. That's a hockey playing beaver.
That's a hockey playing beaver.
So,
Named Gord.
Building a dam.
So I decided for next time, I'm actually going to get the QR code to join Ohana Slack printed on my
that's
sticker,
so cool.
so that you could
Nice.
just
Nice.
scan it. But that
Nice.
was my
Which we
little
will put in
trail
the description.
emoji.
That's
But
wicked.
we'll drop it on there. Yeah, we'll drop it in the description below, so you can
Don't
hop
forget
on
to
in
subscribe.
Ohana Slack. Subscribe,
Nice.
follow, just down below, just below.
Yeah.
Like do the thing.
So
But yeah.
Dreamforce attendee, I had the Dreamforce video channel on pretty much 24/7 last 2 weeks ago.
They streamed a lot of really good stuff.
First time
Correct.
Andy Fawcett was speaking as a Salesforce employee, I believe, right?
Was it?
No.
I
Not
don't think
sure.
it's his first time speaking as a Salesforce
I mean, as
employee. He's been an
a
employee for a
employee,
while.
right?
He's been
But
an employee for a while.
Definitely
Yes.
huge feature with that Caesars.
Yeah. Oh, that was a cool app too. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So
that was
which
in
app?
that was in the dev keynote, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Dev Keynote is where
Yeah,
Miranda got her golden hoodie too.
yes,
So
let's give a
right,
shout out. I
Miranda.
mean, I'm in Southern California.
Yeah.
Miranda Ragland, golden hoodie of the city,
Yeah, big shout outs.
who's huge part of putting together the our Southern California Dreaming event. Force
Awesome.
Academy LA doesn't have dreaming in the name, but don't you know? I mean, it's been going on for God. I think we're coming up on 7-8 years now.
That's
so
amazing.
yeah, Miranda, well deserved, and
Very cool.
at the developer keynote. So, but yeah, then Fawcett's evergreen highlight was Caesar's hotel app. Was
I am so excited for Salesforce Evergreen. It's actually, if you look at the show notes, that's actually the big piece of tech that I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
So,
So
so
we-
what
I
does
think that
Evergreen do for those who weren't
Okay.
there?
do we have a table
All
of
right.
contents? Like you want to hit the like, oh, we're going to talk about like what they announced. Like,
So we've got to give a description for people who weren't there. So what is
Sure.
Evergreen? What does it do?
So Salesforce Evergreen functions are serverless functions on top of the platform. The idea is that you can write code, and these are essentially self-contained functions that are either in Apex or Java or JavaScript, and they're available to interact with kind of what Salesforce is calling functions as a service. But if you think about like AWS Lambda, it's very, very similar. So the idea is like you've got these like serverless functions that you can interact with, and it really opens up this idea of like microservices or a service-oriented architecture, and allows us to build out like much more complex interactions without having to write a whole bunch of like externally facing Apex or like REST services, and still communicate. Either using platform events for standard interactions or these specific functions that kind of talk back and forth. So we got this like it allows you to build really, really cool, like more complex architectures. And they showed off some of this in the Dreamforce in the developer keynote. where Andy was showing off the Caesars like registration and check-in app that Nate was talking about.
And also,
So-
we're going to put links in the keynotes, like especially the main keynotes in the description.
absolutely.
Look for that later. But if you haven't looked for
sure.
it, oh my gosh, Google DF19
Yeah,
keynote.
there's a great blog post on the Salesforce developers blog about evergreen functions. I'll put the link in the show notes.
Nice.
So another really big announcement that came out as well. So there are two of them. First was my favorite announcement at Dreamforce, which is the customer 360 truth. Huge change of just the way to look at your org and look at all of your systems as a whole for that unified view. So what customer 360 truth does is it kind of gives you a single location to view your data, not only within Salesforce across clouds, but across all external systems as well. And so getting that unified view from all of your external systems to get your customer data as well as within Salesforce is just ginormous, especially if you have a lot of integrations. It's ginormous. It's being rolled out in phases. You've got your customer 360 data manager. You have your Salesforce identity for customers, their Salesforce privacy and data governance. And then there is also the 360 audience. Parts of these are out now, parts of these are coming. But it's really just a way to give you that unified ID, that unified view, that unified record across everything. So super, super big. Definitely going to change the way you're looking at your data and at Salesforce. And then another one that people may not have been aware of, but the ball's actually rolling on this one, is the switch from using profiles to using permission sets.
Yeah. Whoa, I didn't hear about this.
And
then if you've taken the Sharing and Visibility Designer exam or studied for that, I think, with the second generation packaging, but also just in general, it's been kind of like a suggestion for a while, but now it's like, oh, right, permission set.
Yeah. So Salesforce
it's like more
taking some of the items that are on profiles, and they are pushing you from profiles for these items to have a one-to-many relationship and pushing them into the permission sets and pushing you to use that. And eventually these items, lots of safe harbor was being said, may eventually be phased off the profile. There's an app that's been created to convert your profiles to permission sets.
Oh, that's cool.
And then also Force.com Labs app, as well as with this app, there's the converter and the analyzer that lets you see what are the permissions assigned to a user across all of their permission sets in their profile. As well as to take into account permission set groups, which came out as an open beta for everybody. So it's in your sandbox, but it is not in your production org. Don't build something until you get it turned on in prod. For those of you that are like, oh, I got something new, check to make sure it's in your production before you go to deploy. But it lets you group together your permission sets into a quote unquote role, not like a role hierarchy role, but like a position, like customer
Does
service,
that have a W?
sales, and then like finance. You can put sets of permission sets that you used to assign to these users every time you add a new one into a permission set group. And then you can then assign them a permission set group instead of a permission set.
Wow.
One thing to think about though is, for one, permission set group permission sets don't show up under individual permission sets on the user yet when you assign them. So that's something that will hopefully be there in the future. But the analyzer, when you look at what is assigned to a user, takes into account what's in every single one of these permission sets, so you can see it across the board.
Oh, that's really cool.
Super cool. Nice, easy way to see what's up.
I wonder,
and is that just kind of
like, there's definitely been, back in the huge, ginormous XML file days,
Yeah.
can understand like, oh my God, profiles, that just messes up everything. Like, don't deal with objects or profiles, like page layouts, maybe, but no, because the admin always adds something in production.
Yeah.
But like, why? None of us work for Salesforce, safe harbor,
Right.
statements all. Why the drift away from profiles, and possibly does that mean that permission sets are going to have like page layout and record type association?
So yeah, there are a few items that aren't going to be in this configuration. One thing being, you know, what is your default record type? What page layout is assigned? Because within permission set groups, you have things like multiple permission sets, which could have multiple defaults marked. So in those situations, you can't really do a switch over.
But it still is allowed, like you can still say, oh, because you have permission set X, you can create, and also just for people that don't know, record type permission on anything is just to create, not to view. That's all sharing land.
Yeah, so you do have that ability to list record types, but things like login hours, what are your defaults, that kind of thing is still going to be controlled on the profile level.
Yeah,
cool.
So, I mean, what is being reserved sacrosanct for profiles? Login hours, default record type, default app.
Yeah, I've got a cool slide that I grabbed a screenshot of while I was over there that I can share with you guys. Let me just grab it to throw up on my screen.
Did you turn the sound down when you took a picture of that in the session?
You know what? I do not have sound on my phone. It doesn't make that weird, clicky, annoying sound to bother everybody else in the world.
Or when you were typing to send it to somebody.
Right. So let me do a share and share this one. So let me know if you can see my screen.
Boom.
Yeah. So you've got like your layout and record as well as your login policy. You'll notice those ones are down in the red zone, so those ones are not going to be converted. But custom
such a
permissions,
negative connotation down there.
External integrations, visual force pages, Apex classes, tab access, object and field access, user permissions. Those are all going to be on the permission set level.
Right, because like the bottom three are all essentially individual choices, right? Those are like individual customizations.
Yeah, you've got to have a one-to-one there, so they can't go permission set.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But also,
I wanted to go back to some of the 360 stuff though, if we can for a second.
Yeah.
Like
go back to 360.
Yeah, like this was the first time. Like obviously, we've all heard like single source of truth before, but this was the first time I heard somebody refer to it as an SSOT, which I thought was very funny. Right. At the same time, I'm wondering like how much of this is happening because of the MuleSoft acquisition, or how much the MuleSoft acquisition happened because they saw this on the horizon, right? Because like the whole point of MuleSoft has been to kind of provide this, ESB, right? This serial bus for like all of the service bus for all this data coming in from all these different sources, and being able to pipe that through and to provide that kind of singular entry and exit for all these different, like myriad disparate data sources. So I think it's kind of interesting that, that's now part and parcel or like embedded in the DNA of the platform. And we say of the platform, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be part of like the core clouds at this point.
So I can definitely, it definitely is part of the core. I mean, it's definitely across the individual core clouds, as well as the addition of being part of external. I would say it's more part of Salesforce and then part of additional beyond Salesforce.
How is that going to work?
How so?
Like, I mean, you've got all this like data that's living outside Salesforce. How is it going to be in Salesforce as part of the SSOT?
So it's more so having that Salesforce idea that's going to be connecting the information. So you've got to think about the fact that, there was a customer 360 in terms of communities already. You had a 360 to see what is it that people are doing within a community. What are they looking at? What are they viewing? And you're able to track that information back to them. Now expanding it and looking at it in terms of, like for the data manager, you're looking at the customer data, then looking at their individual, and, that common profile, a single Salesforce ID for, each person. And then, yes, obviously MuleSoft is involved with bringing in that external data and, figuring out what is the other content or connected information that is connected to this person. What else are they related to? It's not going to be every single piece of data. They can't bring it all into Salesforce, but it's going to be that connection to it and having that single source of truth to connect it all.
Right. I guess I'm just kind of curious. I guess we'll see as it gets implemented. Like you're saying, right? They're kind of phasing it out, but like, what that eventual single source of truth or like that master data source is going to look like.
Yes.
And, is there going to be some sort of, ability to configure what comes over? Do we get to have that choice? Or does Salesforce pick it for us?
Yeah, or does it like require custom development or implementation of like your MuleSoft or whatever? Yeah.
And
the first time I heard the declarative lookup rollup summaries. I was in LA nonprofit user group meeting, and I heard it referred to as Dolores.
Oh my gosh, Dolores! Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Dolores.
And will there ever be a way to do it without MuleSoft and to use a different tool? Like, what if somebody has like Jitterbit or Informatica or Boomi? Are they going to have that same opportunity, or do you have to use MuleSoft?
And it's not OData, like it has nothing to do with Lightning Connect, OData connectors, right?
Nope.
Although, I mean, it seems like it's more of a mandate than it is a new piece of technology, at least right now. Does that make sense?
Well, I don't know. Is it? I think it sounds more like new technology.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. We'll have to find out more.
Yeah.
We'll definitely keep you all posted as more comes out. But I know we're down to our last 2 minutes, and there's so much to go over with Dreamforce. I know
Evergreen,
one thing
Customer
I wanted
360.
to point out were these two.
Go!
Trailhead Go. Yeah, which I couldn't get to work on my iPad, so I was really bummed, man. It just showed me my profile and none of my links worked.
Does that just filter for everything that's multiple choice and not a challenge?
Yeah.
That's finally the trail mix I've been looking for.
Oh my gosh.
But dude, these were great in the expo. There is Colleagues Against Insanity, which is a work safe game to play with your coworkers.
I'm already thinking of
and
that.
props to Elements Clouds for hooking me up with these, man.
Oh, nice.
Or Confessions. They gave me a few copies to have a user group event, but I just want to share some of these for you.
Yeah.
Product object, 250 plus quantity and 250 plus price fields, but needed to write some Apex to query the record. CPQ on one record.
Oh gosh.
3 apps installed, all with the same field name, but cannot change field labels. So super confusing, especially as one app is not used, but we cannot uninstall.
Oh no.
Put it in a change set where you can't see API.
My favorite was one of these where the person had done a bunch of misspellings. So they now refer to their fields as or they reveal to everything as account type or TUPS.
Yes,
TUPS.
It was a Peter Coffey, I think, tweeted that.
Peter Coffey had posted that one. The account TUPS.
Is there a website for these?
Yeah, Elements Cloud has some of them posted on their website, elements.cloud/confessions.
That's amazing.
This will also be in the show notes. But totally check these out. They are hilarious if you're looking to write your day about how bad your work is.
Oh, wow.
You are not alone.
That sounds great. I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah. And I believe you could submit some as well.
Fun fact.
You have some horror stories.
I'm pretty sure Elements Cloud is also one of the T&D sponsors. They were a T&D sponsor in 2019. So shout out to them for being awesome members of the community.
Yeah. After 10 years of working with SFDC, I'm still looking for the search button while building a change set. Legend has it.
There's a plugin for
purpose
that.
of searching for a component, one can also pay additional licensing fees for a super platinum SFDC partner.
Oh my
Or
gosh.
you can just get the organizer.
Booster,
props to Enrico,
BOOSTR.
man.
Actually, my team lead just sent me a link for something that we'll link to that later. There
How are
is
you not
something
using
like
the
the
organizer,
debug log
man?
thing for Classic that can help with change sets.
So
Change sets are great. It's the only way I've ever been able to
Nate,
away from my
Nate,
phone. How can you beat
the
that?
organizer lets you mass add and mass remove and search.
Wow.
And it's by
That sounds pretty
Enrico.
cool.
It's fabulous. Everybody's using it. And then the other thing I wanted to do was give a shout out to everybody that came by the Ohana Slack ice cream social, because that was fantabulous.
Awesome.
So props to all you that came by. Adam, your favorite part of Dreamforce?
Wow. Well, so there was brunch streaming for all the community event organizers. I actually saw a comment from one of our viewers on the live stream, Mike, who was talking about the event streaming or the brunch streaming. So nice to see you there.
Mike has awesome swag for his event. He's got floppy disks and
Nice.
all
I
sorts
saw
of cool
those.
swag.
I'm super
Which the
excited.
event's what, in June,
That's upstate
August?
dreaming.
Like,
Yeah.
Upstate
Upstate
dreaming.
Dreaming's got the best.
Looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's not that far from Ottawa. Other than that, obviously the end of every Dreamforce is the cigar shindig, right? So that's always a big deal. There was I went to the Canada party with my True North Dreaming crew, which was great, and also ran into most of the Porcelandia team at the marketing event, the Into the Blue, which had an awesome yacht rock band called Mustache Harbor, which was pretty great. So yeah, mostly the parties are what I'm most thankful for.
Nice.
you
You
say
know what?
yacht
And Michael
rock?
Farrington did a great job yet again with the cigar shindig. That is always my favorite unofficial end to Dreamforce.
For sure. Shout out.
Salesforce should just sponsor that party and make it the official end of Dreamforce for all of us.
Yeah, I think I like it better as unofficial. I think there's more leeway that way.
I like fan fiction better than official.
Well, they shouldn't actually become involved. They should just sponsor it so that Michael Farrington can continue to do everything that he does. But
Add a third.
we gotta throw the party. Yeah.
Well,
so nice work, Michael. Nice work, Elements Cloud. Nice work, Colleagues Against Insanity people. Excellent work, Mike, with your discs and everybody. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. How did we think we could cram Dreamforce into 30 minutes?
I don't think we can. I mean, I've still got a bunch of stuff to. Maybe we need a part 2.
We didn't even crack more than one question that we wrote down on the document.
I know.
But also, I mean, if anybody that's watching, hopefully live, because your maintenance exams are due in 4 days.
Right.
There's things that I learned in the maintenance exams it was a week or 2 ago, 2 weeks ago, I think, that I'm like, oh, what? You can do custom Apex defined types that Process Builder recognize for callouts?
Yeah. That was at
Porcelandia
this year.
There's so much stuff that people just miss that's not announced at Dreamforce at keynotes, right? Just these things that are sitting there for you to capitalize on. So
and those of you that saw me walking around with my backup battery, I'm still at 19%. Haven't charged yet. I'm still rocking the backup battery.
That's amazing.
Right?
I know I'll for sure be putting the rest of the stuff that I really liked out of Dreamforce in my kind of Dreamforce recap Thanksgiving blog post. So I'll make sure that we get a link for that in the show notes too.
Nice.
Which Thanksgiving was that, Adam?
Definitely American Thanksgiving. I had to come down here and celebrate it with my American Thanksgiving, my San Francisco family. So
nice.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving here went super well too. Lots and lots of food, pretty much all consumed.
I mean,
so
what else is there, right?
Exactly. So with that, Nate, do you want to play us out?
Because we're not played out yet, right? Hold on.
All right.
I didn't put together an outro yet. Okay, let's see. Okay, I've got to get some. I'll make my own music. I do amateur 8-bit composition on my own, but here we go. Ready to keep parody. Are you connected? Yes. Okay. Ready?
Go.
Go.
Oh, come on. Ready? Go. Okay. Oh, that's why. Here we go. Less technical difficulties than our first episode. Oh, I crossfader. DJing so hard.
We can edit this part out of the recording.
This has been System.debug. Tune in next time for more about Dreamforce 19, maintenance exam results, and all the Salesforce goodness.
Awesome. So you can find us on Twitter. We have Megan, MEIGHANSF. We have at Adam Daw, and then we have S-Force be with you. Thanks so much, you guys. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
See you next time.